I'd buy that for $1. And just imagine like big tits next to me. Hi guys, and welcome back to Ben's home video, where today I'm discussing the 4K transfer by Arrow Video of Robocop. Bad man, bad machine, all cop. So yeah, this is Arrow Video's 4K transfer, which is what they originally did on the Blu-ray a couple of years ago. And I do own it. I'll go around to watching it. Oops. Doesn't matter. This came out. And it's great. So it's native 4K with Dolby Vision. Always the best way to go. Let's have a look at the box set. So I opted for the big box set for the 4K. Anyone say that logo isn't badass, you're wrong. The new artwork is great, but I've opted for the original because it's one of my favourite posters of all time. Comes with art cards and this badass sticker, which I want to use, but I don't think I can. Both the discs look the same, and then we got the fat book. Loads and loads in there. All my voice went silly. Sexy though, isn't it? Also got the 1080p Steelbook edition, which I bought about a year and a half ago. The inside artwork is fucking wicked. And this comes with a little tiddler book. Not loads and loads. Still good. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. Skin tones do look natural, and you've got, it's not washed out, and he's also got like his little rosy cheeks at the beginning, which, pretty well, we all love it. For the most part, it's got great contrast, which is a massive benefit of Dolby Vision, obviously. Got the lights and the darks coming at the same time, and it just makes it feel more natural and just look better anyway. But I would say the Arrow Blu-ray, it may not be worth the upgrade, but if you're unsure between which two to get and the Arrow Blu-ray is cheaper, I still don't, unless it's massively cheaper, I don't think that's worth it, because the HDR Dolby Vision in this is fantastic. It's the best it's ever looked. So close-ups reveal kind of more finer details on the skin, which is obviously better for our viewing experience. And yeah, it just looks great. People have said that the Arrow, it's not worth the upgrade from the Arrow Blu-ray. I can't vouch for that, because as I said, even though I own it, I haven't watched it. I've only watched the MGM release before this in Blu-ray, and that was shite. And obviously the bit you're all here for, the blood looks great, like really good. It's a violent film, and I watched the director's cut, not the theatrical cut, because the director's cut is the best version. So even more blood. And I tell you what, actually, they've done a really good job of splicing them in, because the MGM version is the director's cut, and you could tell when it was those scenes, the quality dropped so badly, it was awful. But in this, it was actually quite difficult to find which scene it was. I mean, I know which one it is because of the MGM thing. But even, I don't think if you didn't know, you would definitely not know. It was so minimal, the drop in quality, that only if I was looking for it. The black levels in this are perfecto. Arrow again, you fucking knocked it out of the park. So on the MGM version, this Robocop suit is kind of metallic, silvery grey kind of colour, and that's fine. But on the 4K by Arrow, it's like a purpley bluey hue, and it's like pearlescent, the purple is, and it's how he should look, and it just looks gorgeous. The Dolby Vision is good in this film because one of my favourite things is neon, and that is just warm glow popping off the screen. Yeah, it's the one. And there's a lot of neon in this film because it's a futuristic film. Why wouldn't it have now? There's not many city shots, but the ones they do have look brilliant, beautiful. It's a big budget film, and it shows. Looks stunning. It's got a good level of film grain to it, probably more than some people would like. But it's got, like, for me, it's the perfect amount of film grain. So when I was younger, I used to go to the cinema. I loved how that looked because of the film grain. I didn't realise at the time, obviously, that's what it was. But I always hated how when I'd watch film at home, it never had that kind of proper level of film grain, which obviously does bring up finer details, but I didn't know that at the time either. And now, with the advent of kind of more boutique companies doing Blu-rays and not just DNR and everything, which is dirty noise reduction, which makes everything look smooth and waxy, which is what Predator Blu-ray suffered with, and the Terminator 2 4K suffered with as well, over kind of smoothing, which makes it look a bit video gamey. But yeah, so I never liked how films looked at home until now. I'm just going to show you a couple of the screen caps. Right, so this is the MGM Blu-ray versus the Arrow 4K UHD. No HDR on the pictures as always, so the differences won't be as extreme, but at least gives you a rough idea on the colour timing. This is the only scene that I'd say probably looks worse on these pictures, but looks much better in real life, obviously. And I can't begin to tell you how good this whole scene looks with Dolby Vision. Chef's kiss. So this release comes with a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, but be warned, it's not the default one. The default is 2.0, which I believe is the original. And I think they actually had a 4.0 for cinemas that could handle that, which is also on this disc. So obviously go into your settings first and change it to whatever's suitable for you. Whether or not it's my setup and I needed proper ceiling speakers or not, I didn't think the Atmos was great for height channels, at least. In general, it sounds great, but I feel like it probably wouldn't sound much different from the 5.1. The LFE isn't amazing, but it's nice and rumbly when it needs to be. I mean, it's a 35-year-old film. I don't know what anyone would expect unless they kind of add extra sounds in, which is what we don't want. We want it to be kind of the best it can sound, but with no added effects in, like the Batman 4K, which has had like weird new guns and stuff like that, gunshot sounds added in. Dialogue is very clear, which is always a plus, especially if you live in apartment, flats, terraced or semi-detached houses, because it means you have to blast it just to hear what they're saying. So I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for the presentation, just because the Atmos let it down. I feel like it could have got a 5 if that was spot on. Of course, the burning question, which everyone is obviously asking, is Ed 209 still cute in 4K? The answer is very cute. He's still very cute in 4K. Don't worry, guys. Also kind of scary as well. Yeah, so films like Citizen Kane, Elephant Man, Schindler's List, all black and white for some reason, are all obviously better films. But I think that Robocop does a great job of kind of portraying the over-consumerism of the 80s and maybe even the kind of nanny state a little bit as well, that they were kind of falling into. But yeah, I think it does a great job, does what it needs to be done, does it well, does it violently. Yeah, does it cool? You know, robot cop. Yeah, it probably isn't a 5 out of 5 film, but I'm fucking giving it a 5 out of 5 film. There, I think it goes. Bosh. Fucking bosh. As always, guys, I will never ask you to like or subscribe, and thanks for watching.